Hi, welcome to Vegetables Day 117, and it's Topic Tuesday. And I was not for sure what I was going to talk about today. However, I ended up being guided in a specific direction. And that was to talk about a little bit about the chemical glysophate. So just a little bit of background. As I've mentioned before, in 2009 I was diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia, and that is a form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And as you all may also probably know, there was a lawsuit against Monsanto for Roundup being responsible for cases of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. In addition, Roundup, because it worked so well on the weeds, my husband and I used that exclusively for over 10 years. We moved here at our current address in 1999, and we used it until we heard about the lawsuit and about, the findings that it causes lymphoma. So we immediately stopped using it. So when I first heard about the lawsuit, I contacted one lawyer group, and they said that I wasn't eligible because they said that it was only for commercial use. But then I kept seeing lawsuits on Facebook about it, and so as much as you've been cautioned, watch out what you respond to on Facebook, I went ahead and responded to one. And I was directed to a law firm. Let's get the paperwork out here. Yeah, called Environmental Litigation Group. And, there's a couple of, in the letterhead lists different lawyers that are in the firm. And so then they did a pre-screening for me, and they collected my information, as far as what my diagnosis is, and whether I've had any treatment, how long did I use Roundup, how often I used it, and we were using it both here at my home and also at my mom's house. And so, I explained that to him. There was times that I would use it twice a week. And I used it, at least at minimum 4 times a month. Minimum. Between my house and my mom's house. And then they asked, well, how many months a year? So I answered all that. I gave them permission to get records from my doctor's office. And they got the records. And so I got the phone call today saying that my case has been approved. And that I should be getting a phone call from a lawyer's office in New York. As far as what my next steps are going to be. Well, it just so happened that the lecture tonight on The Real Truth About Food, The Real Truth About Health conference, was on that exact ingredient, glysophate. And also GMOs and how it's affecting so many different aspects of our lives now. And what I found the most interesting is that the reason Monsanto, which is now owned by Bayer, yes, same company that makes aspirin, but a different division. I used to sit next to their customer service, incidentally. So you learn a lot sitting next to another account. But at any rate, when Monsanto, when the lawsuits first, or when they were first trying to get the glysophate approved by the FDA for use, they ignored information. They withheld testing results. In fact, the gentleman that was hired by the FDA or for the FDA to approve chemicals such as glysophate is a former Monsanto employee. So it was just I don't know. It's just scary. So anyway, the one speaker that has done a lot of research on the glysophate, her name is Stephanie Seneff. She has a website, stephanieseneff.net. She has a book coming out that will be released July 1st, but you can pre-order it now. But she's works at MIT. She's I'm sorry, I don't remember. I didn't write it down. But I'll put a link to her website in the description box below if it's something that you're interested in. She has a lot of information directly relating to glysophate. Unfortunately, if you Google her, the website searches that come up are making her out to be a quack. So, I'm not saying that I haven't researched her myself, so I'm not saying that everything she says is true. And I'm not saying that she's, a quack. I'm just saying this is who the presentation was, and this is how it relates to me. So, I'll share her website so that if it's something you're interested in, you can take a look for yourself. The other speaker was Jeffrey Smith, and he heads the Institute for Responsible Technology. They have a Facebook page as well as the website. Their website's responsibletechnology.org. And his expertise is on genetically modified organisms and how it's affecting our health and our environment. And I don't know if you can see it. You can't see it. Okay. So the other website that he has is protectnaturenow.com. And there he has a 16-minute video that's entitled "Don't Let the Gene Out of the Bottle." And it basically talks about how the scientists are manipulating genes of organisms and the potential effect that those organisms may have if they get out of the box, get out of the experimental lab, or if they're purposely released into our environment. Kind of makes you think as far as, what happened in 2020 and the whole 19 thing. He also recommended to his website livehealthybewell.com. And so, I'll definitely be doing more research with that as well. But with the Protect Nature Now website, and I'm sorry that, I'm turning around, but I'm looking at it here. After you watch the film, he has a way that, if you want to take action, you can click on it and you put in your state, and it'll send this information to all of your local or all of your government officials based on where you live. So, something I'll watch the movie first, and if I decide that, I feel like I need to take action, I'm going to do that. But it was just very, very eye-opening information for me. I mean, I knew there was a lawsuit, but, and I knew that there was a correlation between Roundup and leukemia, or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, excuse me. And I did research and find that chronic lymphocytic leukemia is a form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, or it turns into. And when I was looking at my medical records, I had seen that, yes, my doctor did refer to it as non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, or lymphoma, some sort, small lymphocytic lymphoma, SLL, and they're interchangeable. So like I said, it was just very eye-opening for me and very informative. I don't want to right now regurgitate everything that they said, because it was a 2.5-hour lecture, and I'm not going to take the time to do that. But I did want to go ahead and get their information out, so that if that is something that you're interested in, because like myself, you're on a health journey to get healthier, or to find out, what can you do to help make your food supply safer. Check these websites out, and I'm sure that you will be just as enlightened as I am, as far as what exactly is going on with our food supply, and why we're so sick. It's you always hear the term standard American diet. It's sad, and referred to as sad. And you talk about, and when you hear experts tout that you need to eat less of the processed, you need to eliminate processed foods, you need to reduce your consumption of red meat, which, if you're an advocate of whole foods plant-based, you eliminate more than just red meat. You eliminate all meat, all dairy. But when, the experts tout that, this takes it a step further into realize that even if you do eat a whole foods plant-based diet, because of genetically modified organisms, as well as chemicals that are used in farming, you realize that even sometimes eating a whole foods plant-based diet, you're still running into health issues because of these chemicals and GMOs. So I encourage you to check those out. And I'll be perfectly honest, when I was working customer service for, there was, 3 major packaged goods companies that I worked for. And we would, we meaning my team, but I specifically would take phone calls from consumers that talked about, well, you need to get rid of aspartame. It's bad for you. You need to get rid of GMOs. You need to get rid of high fructose corn syrup. You need, and the more I study, let me back up a little bit. When I first started taking the phone calls, I was just telling them exactly what the companies would say. Just to give you an example, aspartame. Okay, aspartame is made by the combination of phenylalanine and something else. I can't remember now anymore because this has been at least 15 years ago. I'm sure. At least 10 years ago when I was telling this. But we were told that, those are just amino acids that are building blocks of protein, and that the phenylalanine is actually an essential amino acid that you have to have in your diet. Okay, sorry. Battery died. So, where was I? Well, I was talking about aspartame and the fact that it's made of 2 amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, and that one of them, I think the phenylalanine, is something that you have to get from your diet because your body can't produce it. So it means it's an essential protein, or essential amino acid, excuse me. And then the other spiel is, was about phenylketonurics. Anything that has aspartame in it has to be labeled with the warning to phenylketonurics that it contains phenylalanine. And that's the reason that's important is that all babies, at least in the U.S., are tested at birth for a genetic disorder called phenylketonuria. And these babies lack the enzyme in their bodies to break down the phenylalanine. So they have to watch, how much protein intake they have. And so the warnings on the label to those people that have phenylketonuria, and they're called phenylketonurics, that it contains aspartame without having to read through the whole entire label. Kind of just like the allergens of, wheat, soy, fish, milk, wheat, soy, fish, shellfish, the top 8. I used to know them all. Dairy, soy. Any rate. And so the other spiel that we had was was about the fact that aspartame causes your body to produce formaldehyde. And it's true. Formaldehyde, and so we had to tell them that it's true. Formaldehyde is a normal what do I want to say? Is a normal, the production of, that's what I say, the production of formaldehyde is a normal part of digestion. And it's because it occurs when your body processes methanol. And then the example is that to say that this aspartame is good for you or not bad for you, and necessarily it's good for you but not bad for you, is that if you eat tomatoes produce many times more, or contain many times more methanol than aspartame, and so your body has more formaldehyde from tomatoes than it does from you consuming aspartame. That's the whole spiel. So there's an answer to everything. And then when it came to the other companies, why we have to talk about GMOs, or well, we didn't have anything as far as like genes per se. I forgot what you called it, gene farming or something. But there was always an answer as far as well, why aren't your products organic? Why don't you why is your product genetically modified? If it is genetically modified, why don't you offer a product that isn't? And all it boils down to is it's all about the money. The only thing that food companies in this country care about is their bottom line. And so in conclusion, once you do all your research and you say, what can I do about it? I'm just one consumer. What all consumers need to do is, if you want a company to change, is you quit buying their products. That is the most powerful tool that you have. I mentioned a couple weeks ago when I found out that Tide changed their formula. It was a direct result from consumer feedback, because consumers were no longer buying the product. And that's not limited to just your cleaning products. It includes your food. The reason there are so many more plant-based vegan foods available on the market than there was even 5 years ago is because consumers began to demand them. Whole Foods is a prime example. It's a company that was created because consumers demanded the foods that they sell. They have I wish I had one near me, but I don't. But, they are known for their organic and vegan offerings. And the reason those are available is because consumers demanded it. So simply, that's what you have. That's the tool that you have. Is your dollar bill. Companies are only going to make changes if their consumers stop buying the crap that they don't want to buy and that they shouldn't buy. So that's my call to action, is not only visit that website that I mentioned so that you get that email out to all of your politicians based on your zip code, but take action by researching the sources of your foods, researching how your food gets from where it's grown to where it's manufactured and to your table. And if there's anything that you don't agree with, don't buy it. Because the more of us that demand cleaner food, a more pure food supply, the more food companies, and even farmers for that matter, will be forced to provide cleaner food. Well, that's the video for today. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you know when I upload the video every day. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day doing your research. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for Weigh-In Wednesday.